Well, welcome back, everybody. Of course, you know me. My name is Dr. Keith McNally. This is episode 5 of the Envision Speaker Series. Today, we are going to talk about mental health and teacher mental health specifically, because we want to talk about professional development and its value to teacher longevity, sustainability, time management, and there's so many components to all of that and how it impacts how well they perform in the classroom, as well as how they perform personally, because we actually own what we do. But if we feel that we're not being valued, that also interacts with how we feel about ourselves. So today I'm here with Jean Ramsey, Ola ElKhatib, please say yes, and Jane Bell. Welcome to the conversation, the three of you. So what I'm going to do now is typically I read off a bio, but today I want each of these ladies to talk about their own value, what brings them here, and what they're going to leave with our audience. Jean, can we start with you, please?
I'll be delighted to start. So my name is Jean Ramsey and I am 70 and I retired from classroom teaching 10 years ago when I was 60. And it was adopting the coaching way of being that kept me in the classroom and made it a joy right until the last minute, because I adopted the coaching way of being. 20 years before that, I had a classic perimenopausal ADHD fueled burnout. I didn't know that I had ADHD at the time, and I'd never even heard the words peri and menopausal, but boy, did they have an impact on my entire life. So burnout is sneaky. It creeps up on you little by little. You think it's normal to feel so tired, to be so short-tempered, so stressed, so depleted day after day. But adopting that coaching way of being, and that is coming from a place of non-judgment and absolute positive regard for everybody in the school community, was win-win for everybody. It made us enjoy each other's company. And as I've said already, it kept me going until the last gasp. And that's why I'm still doing this work, because I want to share the message. Do that positive reinforcement and coaching way of being in the classroom.
Jean, thank you so much. Ola, what brings you here today?
Thank you. And I love Jean's intro. Oh my God, I'm so lucky to be with you all today. So my name is Ola and I'm a teacher trainer and a well-being coach. And I'm here because I believe schools are not at the moment the very best place for teachers to be. And that's because they are really depleting. But it is in our hands to make it a place where we achieve not just professional excellence, but also personal fulfillment. And that's what I'm all about. I'm all about that alignment between who you are and what your values are and what matters to you the most and what you get to do on a daily basis at school. And once you do that, you will achieve the real happiness in the world. So I believe that teachers deserve to be happy and deserve to speak to themselves and about themselves in a very positive manner, rather than saying, I just want to be less stressed this year. This doesn't make any sense at all to me. It's like, okay, so how many kilograms of stress would be acceptable? So that's not the case. We deserve full happiness. We deserve a full plate, and we can have it all. We just need to ask the right way and insist, and the universe can only listen. So I am here for the personal fulfillment and the professional excellence, both together. Thank you.
Well, that was beautiful. And I hope we achieve that this year. Jane, introduce yourself, please. Why are you here today?
So I would just like to echo, to begin with, what Jean said about experiencing teacher burnout. That was also very close to my experience. So I'm a teacher. I still teach in the classroom, just like Ola. We are actual real teachers. And I have taught for 12 years. And I spent 5 of those leading a really successful geography department. And I am a teacher workload reduction advocate. So I wrote my book, Time Smart Teaching, a few years ago, because I found that I did not want the trainee teachers that came through my department to have the same experience I had, which was burnout and zero support and mental health problems and physical health problems as a result of that constant stress and exhaustion. And I was to put all my learning of how I went from working 60 hours a week, burning out, to 40 hours a week and working full time and running a department. I put all of that experience into my book, into my course, the Teacher Freedom Program, and it's the basis of all the things that I post today. And I'm a huge advocate of teachers taking responsibility and realizing that they are responsible for their workload, and giving them tools so that they can take that and actively reduce their workload.
Jane, I love that. And so hopefully we're going to get into some of that today. With that in mind, I want to focus on the 4 specific questions that we're going to cover today. So the overarching topic or focus for our conversation is, what does it mean to own your own professional development? And then after we cover that, I'm going to focus on each of these ladies' specific topics. Jean is going to cover trauma-informed professional development. Jane is going to talk about performance management. And Ola, how do teachers manage their time and their energy better? So with that in mind, Jean, let's get the conversation started. What does it mean to own your professional development?
To me, I think it means you need to know where you are not as effective, and then to make it your business to attend CPD, read books, talk to people, listen to podcasts, to address those shortcomings, because we've all got them. And then you can really begin to enjoy yourself in the classroom by playing to your strengths. You bring the things you're not so good at, focus on them and bring them up to the level of the things that you really are good at. And it's your responsibility. You have to ask for what you need.
And I think Ola is and Jane, but I know Ola is a big advocate for asking what you need. Can you talk to me about that, Ola?
Yes, thank you. So I agree 100% with Jean, and I think that also one important element is that you don't just look for the accredited courses, because many of them are not personalized enough. So what you need is a personalized support, and regardless of certifications or accreditation or whatever you may call it, because unfortunately, I'm not saying don't do these. I'm saying you have to combine both. You have to combine these with also personalized support. So I have done a master's degree in education. It didn't help me to become more confident until I managed to combine it with the coaching. And that's where I managed to put all my knowledge into practice. But apart from that, the profession can be really cruel in a way that doesn't allow you to bring all your knowledge and to put it into practice, because you're so afraid of trying new things, or you're so afraid of even speaking a different language that's not being spoken at the moment. So whatever it is that you are doing that's accredited, that's perfect, keep up with it, but also make sure that you get that personalized support, because it's the only thing that you do for yourself and not for others, not for people to see, look, here I am, that's me. It's not about that. It's about really who you are with no proof, just being you.
Jane, add to the conversation, please.
I agree full-heartedly with what's been said. I think for me, owning your professional development comes first from a realization that what the school prioritizes as teacher training and professional development does not necessarily mean that that is what is best for you as a teacher and as a person and as a human being that has a life outside of teaching. So many teachers have this really dim view of what teacher professional development means because they've only experienced what school has provided, which in my view is mostly lackluster and, as Ola says, unpersonalized. I would just encourage people today to dip their toe in the water, you know, just attend a free training session, come to our chat GPT training this weekend. Your eyes will be opened as to how empowering and confidence building is CPD when you're choosing it for yourself for the right reasons for you.
I like that. I like that very much. Additionally, I would like you all to define, if you could, what professional development means. And so I know that may seem obvious, or the answer may seem obvious, but each of you ladies are kind of looking at it from a very different, although combined way. You have different experiences in the classroom. You have different experiences as a trainer. You all have different experiences as a coach. How do you define what professional development should be for the professional educator? And I don't care who goes first.
I don't mind going first on this one while my toddler is quiet. Always good to jump in when she's quiet. So professional development is really about aligning your personal goals, whether that's building a business, whether that is reclaiming time for yourself, and, you know, and bringing that together with your teaching goals. So I'm going to talk later on about professional development and how you can do this a bit better, but it's about merging the two so that both parts of your life benefit, your personal life and your teaching life, and by extension the school and the students benefit as well.
I think that's a good segue. Jean, Ola, anything to add to that? What does
Well,
professional development mean to you?
I 100% agree with Jane, and I think that any professional development that is successful will definitely make you a better human being on multiple levels and multidimensional state, because you are, as a parent, are the same person as a teacher. You, as a husband or a wife, are the same person who goes to the classroom and teaches. So there is, in reality, there is no segregation between who you are in your day-to-day life and in your day-to-day life in the classroom as a classroom practitioner, and there shouldn't be. In reality, it's not there yet, but that's why we are here.
Jean, any thoughts?
I love the idea of like a pick and mix of professional development. You get to choose what it is that you feel you need to work on the most. And it's about growing and being more confident. And when you are confident, you are prepared to take risks, try new things, which in turn makes your lessons much more interesting and accessible. And then the young people are more engaged, and it makes this beautiful virtual spiral of improvement, constantly looking back. I remember we were taught to be reflective practitioners. Have a go, see what the impact is. And as I think it's John Hattie says, don't just stop at the impact on the teachers, see what the impact is on the young people, because that's what we're in the business of.
A ripple effect. Yeah, I like that. So let's start with you, Jean.
Okay.
You wanted to talk about trauma-informed professional development. Now, you got to clue me in. What does that mean exactly? And how would that fit into teacher professional development?
Well, I created a course called Find Your Kind after I'd done a lot of reading with Paul Dix and Rob Plevin's work on the teacher has to change if behavior in the classroom is going to change. You have to be able to regulate yourself if you are going to be a more effective classroom teacher, because when you can regulate yourself, whatever's happening is not going to escalate how you are feeling. That is really, really key. So it's ironic that I didn't know about this while I was still teaching. And when I designed my course, Find Your Kind, with teachers who were very experienced, they asked me about it. And that's what made me dig into it and really relish it. So it's about creating emotionally safe places. And these ideas are from Betsy DeTierry. And it's about emotions are respected and validated and not squashed down. Adults recognize that children need our nurture and care to be predictable and repetitive, so that neural pathways can be reformed so they can tolerate and then begin to enjoy new relationships. So people who've been experiencing toxic stress find it so hard to learn because they're in a state of high anxiety all the time. And that's what we want to de-escalate so that they can absorb the knowledge that you are trying to share with them. A child can't learn, focus or concentrate, play or relax unless their basic needs are being met. So are they hungry? Are they tired? Do they just need some TLC? And right now, with the economic crisis, this is more and more relevant. Children are coming to school with dirty clothes. It's Dickensian. Rob Plevin, in his needs-focused teaching, says the secret to preventing problems is to provide appropriate opportunities for young people's need for power and belonging and fun to come to fruition and be satisfied. If you don't do this, they will find their own inappropriate ways to meet them. And fun is my favorite S word. Now, F word. So you can see this is a million miles away from the isolation booths that are being proposed over here. It's like Chokey in Matilda. It's got nothing to do with power, belonging or fun. Shouting and shaming are not helpful. I remember male members of staff who used to boast about the capacity of their lungs, the full hairdryer effect they used to talk about. To me, that's just bullying, and it's power over. Recognize that children's biological and emotional ages may not always match, and you need to deal with whatever is presenting to you at that time. And we mustn't descend into childish behavior because we've been escalated by what's going on. We need to be very aware of our facial expressions, tone of voice, body language, words and actions. See, this is all bread and butter to a drama teacher. We need to be consistent and predictable, because that's what the young people have not had at home. That's why they are in this place of toxic stress. Recognize that all behavior is communication. We need to try and find out what the child is needing and help them to reflect and express those needs when they feel calmer, not in the moment of crisis. They can't listen. Just calm it down, and then they might be able to tell you what's the matter. We as adults need to remain and provide positive, definite, strong boundaries that enable a child to feel safe and not have to take on the role of being protector or provider. So many young people have to step up when parents can't provide that, if they have alcohol abuse or drug abuse issues. We employ repetitive, kind de-escalation. We choose our words mindfully to build children up and encourage them. How can you do that in an isolation booth? We celebrate the tiniest of successes, every positive change and every progression we celebrate together. And as adults, we need to look after ourselves and look out for each other through listening and empathy and kindness. So how do we de-escalate? It can be challenging. It's easy to lose control yourself. Take a deep breath, maybe even take a step back. Prepare, practice, practice. When others are around, you or your teammates ask them to go away so that you can respect that young person's privacy. Invite them to another room or a space to talk about what's happened. Keep your body language open. Keep your arms and hands open and visible and about waist height. Use active listening. Tell me more. What happened next? Validate their experience. I see you're going through a tough time right now. Validate their feelings. I'd be angry too if that had happened to me. Clarify what they said so you can understand what happened and how, and they feel heard, especially if you've got to write a report. Ask if they'd like some water to drink or something to eat, and be sincere. I'm here to help you. What can I do? When you calmly engage with that young person in conversation, you build rapport and you help them to feel that they belong. You show them they're heard and valued, even when they're in crisis. So let's think about how to support yourself through de-escalation. Remember, when a young person's behavior escalates, it's not about you, it's about them. Focus on how you can help them return to calm with your support instead of taking it personally or escalating your own response. Stay calm. Take deep breaths. When possible, ask teammates for support. And after the crisis, take time to debrief other staff who were there. If you were the only one there, reach out to debrief with your teammates. Process the situation with your supervisor and ask for guidance. And if your organization offers employee assistance program, call on them for support. Activate your own self-care plan. I love this assumption that you have a self-care plan. Journal about the situation. How are you feeling? Think about what you did well. What would you do differently next time? How will you approach that young person when you see them again? De-escalation can be challenging and intimidating, but once you develop the skills and confidence, you can do it. Practice common scenarios with others in your team, role play with teammates. This will help you learn and gain confidence, and it'll be a great reminder to others that this is the training that teachers really need. So familiarize yourself with these techniques. Rehearse them like you would fire drill. Perfect planning prevents poor performance. So if you've rehearsed this and practiced it, it becomes almost automatic. Only today, somebody signposted me to a Sky News article by Nick Martin. It highlighted the dramatic increase in exclusions, but some schools, like the Marvel College in Hull, led by Jake Cooper, are providing their own alternative provision in-house. They are providing special classes to help young people to re-engage with school, and that helps them to feel that they belong. More children are being suspended, and we know that exclusion is a short step away from being entrapped by county lines and a life of crime. And what will the potential costs be to our economy then? My aha moment is that ADHD can be a kind of a trauma, and that's why the techniques for dealing with neurodiversity are so similar to trauma-informed safe environments. So I would like your takeaways to be these. All behavior is communication. We learn more when we're happy and relaxed and having fun. Don't get furious, get curious. Remember, you're the adult and they are the child. Enjoy each other's company and thank them for their attention. We have to give them hope, and we have to give them a method.
Now I've got to ask, and this goes to all three of you, because you brought it up, Jean. A personal care plan. What does that look like? And do the three of you have one?
Yep.
What does it look like?
Self-care all the way.
Explain. So what does that mean for a teacher? What would that require for teachers? Because teachers have a very stressful job, because they've got stressors from the lower end, the little people that they serve, regardless how tall those little people are, and then the administration that kind of is there to make sure that the school runs according to whatever policies, procedures, laws that it's required to. So the stress, and then you might have a colleague who just pisses you off.
Yep. Oh yeah.
How does self-care work for teachers? And don't spend too much time on it. I was just really curious.
Well, it's really, really important. I have a theory that a lot of teachers are very high achievers and they drive themselves far, far too hard. They don't cut themselves any slack. It's an infinite job teaching. You have to have firm boundaries. And if somebody gives you another task to do, then Jane will like this, because I'm sure I read it in her book.
She will.
If somebody gives you another task to do, you say, okay, what do you want me to not do in order to do this? I used to have a colleague who loved to chat, and I would have earmarked an hour after work to get this task done. And I'd say, okay, you got 5 minutes. And I would tell her to off very politely so I could go back to work. But we'd laugh about it because she knew, Jean's setting out her boundaries. We'll have a chat, and then she's going to go back to her drama room and get on with that job that she needs to get done by tomorrow. So it's all about boundaries and saying no.
Well, let's move on from boundaries to time management. Let's move to Jane. Jane, you're a time management expert for teachers, yes?
I am a time management expert. I thought this was going to be Ola's question.
No, I'm going to you. I'm going to you now.
Okay, so time management is an ongoing collection of skills. Like, you're never done improving your time management skills. There's always something to learn. For example, we've just got ChatGPT, and so now I'm furiously looking at this and experimenting and thinking, right, how can this make teachers' lives easier? How can this stop them taking their work home, which it can? And I'm so excited to share more about that another time. Again, it comes back to this idea that you as a teacher have to stop waiting for the school to make your life easier, to stop giving you more work, for someone to give you permission and say, oh, you look like you're really busy. What can I take off your plate? Like, it just doesn't happen. There's just more and more and more all the time, right? With all the curriculum changes, new intervention strategies, you name it. And so workload management is got to be an inside job. It's literally starts and finishes with you. And as Jean's already mentioned, boundaries is a crucial part of that. And I just kind of like laughed when Jean was telling that story about the colleague that came and chatted to her, because looking back at myself, I can see that I might have been that person. I'd be like congratulating myself for going in early, and then I'd be like, oh, I'll go and talk to my friend in the science block, and then before I know it, like, I've got nothing done. And so it's a mindset shift just as much as it is a skill set. When you read Time Smart Teaching, that I set out at the beginning, that the whole point of the book is that you develop this Time Smart Teaching mindset. So yes, it's about learning these particular strategies, but there is something in your brain called a reticular activating system. You might have heard it referred to as RAS. And once you start to focus on and find a hack or a tip or a process that you can do quicker and faster, you are training your brain to look for more ways to work quicker, smarter, less hard. And it becomes a compound effect without you even realizing it. So once you focus on finding these things, they'll just be drawn to you. You'll overhear something, you'll read something, you'll see a colleague doing something, and you think, how can I learn from you? And that's been my whole experience with moving from working 60 to 40 hours a week, is me basically learning from other people. And it's an ongoing process. So I will stop there, because I will literally talk about this till the cows come home. So I will let someone else join in.
Well, you wanted to talk about performance management as part of the professional development smorgasbord, as the three of you were talking about it, because you get to pick and choose. And how do we train for performance management?
So it's an area that basically you don't get any training on, which is kind of why I wanted to talk about it. Yeah, shock horror, another important thing in teaching that no one gives you any training on. So I went through this process myself, like over 4 or 5 years, with colleagues that I trained up. And you need to be aware that performance management is not a top-down delivery of things. It might be that way and it might feel that way, but that's not how it should be. Performance management, when you're setting objectives, is a two-way, it's a ladder. It goes both ways. So yes, senior management or your department head can say you need to do X, Y, and Z for the students or the department, but then you have like this negotiation power to say, well, I don't think you're going to give me adequate support for that. I want that to be changed. I want this to be added. And, it's a two-way conversation. It should not just be a dictation, being dumped on, because it's not going to be effective and you're not going to meet your performance management targets. However, if you manage to have a negotiation and a conversation, you can get it so that the things that are on there, your goals, your objectives, are things that you're looking forward to do, that you want to do and interest you as a teacher. So let me give you an example. One of the objectives that I had for 1 year was that I wanted to improve the quality of homework with Year 9. Year 9 homework was dire. And it's always the stick, right? We're beating kids with a stick. I was like, I don't want to be that focus. I want to have an enjoyable focus. So I said, I'm going to concentrate on rewards. I am going to implement and try out a series of reward systems for year 9, just to focus on rewarding those that are doing their homework well. And it was a joy. I stood up in front of assemblies and I gave out tons of certificates to year 9s who had basically consistently got an E for their homework effort, because I don't mark homework, guys. I don't ever mark homework, but they all do homework and they all get a grade. But they grade each other's. And so that's just one example of how this works. Is you got to put stuff on there that's going to meet your agenda, that's going to light you up. And it's not just going to be another item to do to add, it's not going to be another straw that's going to break the camel's back. I don't know if Ola or Jean can maybe refer to this. Have you had a similar experience where someone's just giving you stuff to do and you're thinking, great, I don't want to do any of this stuff?
Oh yeah. And the thing is, if you are efficient and you get your tasks done, then blow me down, they come and give you another job because you've done that well. Yeah. Oh, isn't there a Chinese proverb? If you want something done, ask a busy person.
Very good, Jean.
I wanted to ask you. Oh, can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
When you focus on the rewards, did you find that people, year 9s started to do their homework better because they wanted a reward?
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So not only did we give out certificates, but I made positive phone calls home, positive letters home, raffle tickets. Literally, it was almost instantaneous. So I set the expectation. I said, this year, I said to year 9, you're going to be rewarded for your homework. It wasn't a surprise to them. I told them in advance. I said, if you can maintain excellent effort on your homework every time you hand it in, and you maintain that for a half term, you're going to get a reward at the end of the half term. And it was super effective, that it absolutely blew my mind. And so that I like to share this particular strategy a lot wherever I am, to motivate people to use more of the carrot, right, and less of the stick.
It's not rocket science, is it?
No, it's not.
Well, we don't know yet because we haven't heard from Ola. So let's bring Ola back into the conversation, because I know she wanted to talk about professional development, teacher energy. Ola, do teachers get worn out?
Everything that you ladies have shared, and I love your questioning, Keith. I'm just loving this session so much, and I feel, again, so lucky to be here.
Well, do teachers get worn out? Because you wanted to talk about energy.
Yes, so I wanted to share that it's different when you just manage your time, or when you also focus on managing your energy, because time is actually not a non-renewable resource. Whereas energy or stamina of human beings is renewable, even if it doesn't sound like. Like, we have been all through traumatic events, even if it's not directly us, it's inherited in our genetics, right? And then some days you feel that just the universe is just against you. And then you wake up the other day with another fresh smile, and you get back to life and everything is normal. That's because you have a stamina, and your stamina is a renewable resource. So when you just think about any task as of how much time is it going to take, that's probably not the best strategy. You need to consider how much energy is it going to take as well. So it's not just the time, but it's also the energy. Why? Because when it's taking energy from you, is it going to take? That's probably not.
I need to put Jean on mute.
Sorry.
Put yourself on mute, Jean. Go ahead, Ola.
That's all right. So when you are doing a task and you are considering how much energy it will take, and you find that it's going to take a lot of your energy, that means it's either not aligned with your values, or it's not something that you should be doing, because usually teachers are very passionate about what they do. So it's something that doesn't necessarily impact your students, which is why you feel that it takes too much energy from you. And whatever that is, once you deal with it, once you find a way to do it without draining your energy, then you didn't just better manage your time, but you also managed your energy, so that you're not, in the end of the day, you're not depleted, you're not drained, and you're not burnt out. I know this sounds like something very simple. Jane has mentioned it. Controlling your breath is a great way of controlling your energy. And unfortunately, it's really sad that I know of many colleagues who are teachers who have never done a yoga class or a Zumba class or a gym session. And like the best they could do is to walk for 5 or 10 minutes, and they say it, and I almost cry every time I hear it, because I'm like, you have all these options and you're just letting go of them because you have never tried. What if you actually just try it out for once? And I know that people think they don't have time, which is why I'm saying you don't just need to manage your time, but you also need to manage your energy. The way I do it, I really like a self-care system, like Jean has mentioned, and Jane as well. The way I do it is I just do one thing once a week. So, for example, every Monday, because it's the start of the week, I'll always start the week with a workout. That's it. Just put a very, very small goal. Don't say I'll commit to work out every day, because we know for teachers it's not always doable. Although I'd love for you to do it every day, but if not, if you are a beginner, if you are just starting, then just put one day. Okay, another day where you have those 7 or 8 or 9 lessons per day, plus an extracurricular activity and a lunch or after school duty. That one day, just make sure you are in bed by, let's say, as early as possible. Sometimes, I don't blame myself. Sometimes I'm not very old, I'd say, but sometimes I'd go to bed at 6, as early as 6 p.m., and I would sleep all the way up till the morning next day. And I don't blame myself. I don't feel guilty for it, because it's just one day per week where you are going to make sure that you are in bed as early as possible. And if you have children, you're going to arrange that in advance. You will have someone to take care of them, because it's just one night. So don't just think about managing your time, but think about managing your energy by systemizing how you make a system for yourself, where just one time per week, I'm going to do that on one day, and I'm going to try that out on the other day. And by doing that, you are going also to do a test for yourself. So you're trying things out, you're seeing what works and what doesn't really work. So you're always constantly trying and testing and improving. And that's what I mean by manage your energy and not just your time. One last thing I would say for managing your energy is also watch the language you speak to yourself with, because many teachers, as you ladies have mentioned, they set the bar very high for themselves, and then they end up talking to themselves in not a very positive way. And even though that you've managed your time well by sticking to doing what you have to do, you haven't managed your energy well, because you have been talking negatively about yourself. So make sure that you give yourself positive messages. I want to say affirmations. People also in the teaching profession, many teachers have never tried a positive affirmation, and that's because of the social media. What do you call it? Do you call it like, is it mainstream theme that's used in social media, where somebody says something very random and then asks everybody to say it? Well, for teachers, if you want, because teachers are they like to be very reasonable, and they like to follow logic, things that make sense. So for teachers, I would say just find things that make you happy and remind yourself of them. And that is a personalized approach. So you're not just repeating someone else's affirmations. For example, for me, one of the things that work very well, I like freedom so much. So I remind myself every day that I give my students the space they just need. And just by reminding myself of this, I don't fall in the trap of following someone else's expectations without making sure that these expectations are aligned with my main affirmation of giving my students the space that they just need. So I hope this will help teachers to manage their energy as well as their time better.
You have an applause. So yes, and me too as well. Jean, Ola, Jane, thank you for this incredible conversation on teacher professional development and how it impacts who they are, their emotions, their thoughts, their own being, and even to the point of any spiritual connection that they may have. So This is a very valuable conversation, and I'm hoping that you share this conversation as it goes on YouTube and on podcasts with all of your networks, because they really need to reach out to you, connect with you, all three of you, and learn from you. And the three of you together are a wonderful team of professional educators that I am quite proud to know. And so I appreciate that as well. With that being said, I want to go now this way. So Jane, Ola, Jean, you get 30 seconds. Leave our audience with something to do today or tomorrow, depending on what time it is. Start with you, Jane. Give our audience something to do.
Okay, so this is easy. Download a copy of Time is Smart Teaching and sign up for our Chat GPT for Teachers special LinkedIn audio events. Well, I'll be joined by Ola and Harren, and it is this Sunday at 4 p.m. We would love to see you there.
We'll put that in the LinkedIn comments. Good. Ola?
Right.
Thank you. Follow me on Ola ElKhatib, where I'm on a mission to elevate education by empowering the human factor for sustainable excellence. Sustainable here is all about well-being, really, well-being mixed with professional excellence. And the next call to action, I would say, is find yourself, positive affirmation that is just about you, and try it out.
Beautiful. Jean, give our audience something to do. Take yourself off mute. This is one time you could talk.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about the noise earlier. I was trying to follow the thread on LinkedIn. Yeah. One thing to do, start your day intentionally. It's already happened. You've had a wonderful day. All the classes went swimmingly and you enjoy the young people's company. And if you would like to know more about me, you could visit my website, www.coachingforschools.com, and I have my Find Your Kind course or my From Overwhelmed to Oasis of Calm course. Simple things to do.
Jean, Ola, Jane, thank you for joining me on the Envision Speaker Series. For those of you who are watching and listening as a podcast, I'll see you next time. Take care.